Hello, this is Amy Young, and this is my artifact presentation. As of this moment, I have no title for my artifact, although I've racked my brain for some clever or meaningful name for it. I was inspired by the land artist Andy Goldsworthy, who creates sculptures both permanent and impermanent, most often from natural materials found in the surrounding environment. I thought this type of artwork fitting considering the single mindedness of my subject matter throughout the course of this program, which has been focused on nature and integrating nature into our curriculum and taking art outside and learning just in general outside. Um, Here are some examples of Andy Goldsworthy's work. If you're not familiar with him, his artwork is much more pristine, more focused than, as you will see, mine was. But it's kind of fitting because I'm not known for my laser focus anyway. Okay, so on the left is a photo of how the art started out. And it actually stayed that way for a couple of weeks due to weather and scheduling conflicts. My eldest daughter even complained that it creeped her out and it looked like someone was going to perform some strange ritual beneath our oak tree. And this is a pretty fair representation of how I started this program as well. I didn't have any great expectations of changing how or what I taught. I was after a pay bump. Colleagues with less than 10 years experience or with 10 years less experience than me were making more than I was, and that pushed me to pursue my specialist. At that point, I've been teaching for 25 years. And I was almost at the point of no return. If I ever intended to do this, I needed to do it then. And I'm glad I did. However, less than idealistic my intentions were in the beginning, I have grown and learned a great deal about myself and about my calling over the course of this program. As you can see, my artifact had a rocky beginning, which is much like the experience of returning to school after close to 30 years. But to do this project, I had been collecting acorns for this project for several weeks, to the chagrin of my family or anybody who was around me um, when I was distracted by acorns on the ground at any given moment, outside a restaurant, outside a wedding venue, didn't matter. I was constantly collecting acorns. I have hundreds, if not thousands, maybe even a gallon or so. No, more than a gallon. Anyway, I collected so many that I probably could have filled the whole figure with them. For me, the acorns represented my students and their potential as well as mine. I placed my artifact under oak tree in our yard that had only started producing acorns just last year. I did not even realize that they did not produce acorns from the get go. I never really thought about it, but they don't until they reach maturity of about, well, I don't know precisely. But anyway, for our trees, it was last year. I concentrated the bulk of the acorns in the head to represent all the possibilities that our students and that we hold within our imaginations. I placed a nest on the head as well to illustrate a quote that I had heard years ago by Martin Luther, as it turns out, although I thought it was Francis Assisi. Uh, but I was wrong on that one. You can't keep the birds from flying over your head, but you can keep them from building a nest in your hair. This quote reminded me to not dwell on that stinking thinking voice that sometimes whispers in your ear, that knows all your insecurities and all your anxieties. Those thoughts do occur to us, but we don't have to dwell on them. We can focus on other things. um, I used holly berries for the heart, and those holly berries came from the bush tree right outside my classroom. So I like that for that too. And I surrounded the heart by tree bark as a representation of the verse Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows out of it. And I do believe that if your heart is full of hate, that's what's going to flow out of it. If it's full of love, it's full of joy, that's going to flow out of it. So this was a reminder to me to guard my heart and protect the hearts of those that are put in my charge, my students and my own children, my own family. The reeds were representative of my need to stay flexible and bend without breaking through this process, and the branch beneath the figure symbolizes the support I received from my family and from you all. I could not have done this, finished this as well as I have, or with any shred of sanity, which is questionable anyway, had it not been for many of you. I just couldn't have done it. I want to thank each of you. I want to thank you, Jackie, um, my original mind map group from that first semester. We've kind of kept in touch as far as on Group Me. We had our little chat, and without it, I would have gone insane. I wish I could tell you that everything that was in the figure, the artifact, was deeply meaningful and symbolic, but sometimes you just had a spot that need filling, and a pine cone or a pumpkin will just filled it very nicely. So that is my artifact. It is not exactly as I would have liked it to be, but it is what it is. Kind of like me. Thanks.